Hello. Well, apart from that rap across the hand with the ruler, I don't really remember too much about those middle years of 7 to 11. I guess I was just, an ordinary kid, not good, not bad, just middle of the road, I suppose. Um, but I do remember, memories of the actual school and its construction. The classrooms were wooden, and they were in the L shaped, and on the long side there were, I think, about 6 classrooms. Then there was the entrance gates to the tarmac playground, and on the other side there were offices and some other buildings. And the classrooms were pretty conventional. They had the conventional blackboard, and the teacher sat at the front, and then there were 2 rows of desks, each of which had 2 persons sitting in them. And I don't know how the seats were allocated or whether we chose them. I can remember some of the people who I sat next to. Althea's name comes up. And I think I'll skip over that. So I guess I was just an average kid. There were no highlights, no dramas, and life went on for those 7 to 11 years. The education arrangements were different from today in that at the end of your time at the middle school at the age of 11, you took an examination which was called an 11 plus, and somebody decided from the results of that whether you were bright enough to go on to further education to a grammar or a secondary school. And if you weren't, then you did go to another school, but there the teaching was more of a vocational nature, in that they taught trades and carried on still with the basic education, but there was much more emphasis on vocational subjects, which would hopefully lead you to be able to take an apprenticeship in a factory or a firm. And of course, at that firm in those days, that would be the place you would stay, you hoped, all of your life. But the great thing about that was that if you weren't considered bright enough to go on to grammar school or secondary school, then that is where you went, and you would leave school at the age of 14. So of course I'm sure all of us hoped that we would be able to do that, because although school wasn't terrible, everybody wanted to grow up quickly, and of course to leave school and go to work was pretty well one's whole ambition in life. I think it was a very good system, but of course I'm sure there were many children who might have been capable of better things who would slip through the net, because things judged just on one examination can not always bring up the results you want. But nevertheless, I think it was a very good system, and well, anyway, I did pass the 11 plus, and then went on to a secondary school, which, well, I remember all of my school days and really all of my young days as being very happy days. But of course, at the more secondary school, then education was far more intense, with a wider variety of subjects. Just on reflection, something I forgot to tell you while I was describing the oh dear, isn't it marvellous how these old men get confused? What I was going to say was, okay, so you took the 11 plus to decide where you were going to go, and then if you went to secondary school, at the end of that period, at the age of 16, you took what we called O-levels, or school certificate, we called it the school cert, but I'm afraid that had a few more connotations as we grew older compared to this age of innocence that I am describing now. But of course, if you did get your O-level school certificate, then that would open up the job market to better jobs. And just going back to what I forgot to tell you before, when I was describing the school, I described the classrooms and things like that, but the boys' toilet was a place you really did want to avoid. It was just a concreted wall painted with tar and a drainage gully down below, which seemed to me to be never flushed out, or if it was, I just choose the wrong times, because that was a memory of of school days then. Oh dear, what a mess. I really should script these videos, but you know, perhaps that's part of the charm. You can't expect an old man to get it all right, can you? So perhaps I'll do better next time. But until then, goodbye.